Hey everybody, it's Mr. K out on the road today. I wanted to make a video today to talk about suicide and depression, especially because I've been getting a lot of messages from some kids that I taught in the past who are not really happy with what's going on in their life right now. It's an overwhelming number, actually. As an assistant principal at the middle school, I had probably 3 or 4 kids in my office per week telling me that they were feeling suicidal and that they weren't happy. And it's just sad to me that so many young kids, young meaning from the ages of, let's say, 13 all the way up to 25, are feeling this way today. In fact, yesterday, a former colleague of mine and my wife's, took his own life. And it's just all around us. People are really depressed right now. I'm not sure exactly why, but I can tell you that I sympathize and I understand the feeling. I can tell you that I've struggled with anxiety my entire life. At about the age of 21, I had my first panic attack. It was a terrible experience. I remember we flew to Texas, and this gentleman who was supposed to be my mentor and trainer told me, he handed me a brochure and he told me, "You're going to clear this brochure with this customer today." And I didn't know what anxiety felt like. I never really experienced that so intensely. I had anxiety growing up as a young boy, but to have it manifest itself in the way that it did during that sales presentation, I lost my breath. I couldn't talk. I couldn't catch my words. And it was a really scary moment in my life. I remember feeling like a total failure, and I was like, what the heck is going on with me? And it wasn't until about 4 or 5 years later that I realized that I suffered with an anxiety disorder. I tried to take medicine for it, and that made it even worse. In 2007, I think, I felt like I had a nervous breakdown, which is scary for a person in their mid-20s. I remember pulling off to the side of the road and actually just crying in my car. I couldn't control my feelings. I felt overwhelmed. I was working for a company that was down in Washington, D.C. at the time, and I just felt like I couldn't control my own life, that I wasn't in charge of my own destiny. And that kind of feeling is scary. And there are a lot of you out there that are suffering with that right now. You're young parents. I can remember how scary it was for me and my wife to have kids. My son William was born 7 weeks premature, and that was a terrifying time. And I remember feeling so anxious. And, my wife was depressed after she had our baby, and she is the most happy person on this planet. So every life goes through ups and downs and has challenges. The first time I experienced it and so intensely with a suicidal friend, I was 19, and one of my closest friends from high school wound up killing himself, and it was a shock. I didn't understand at that time why he would act that way, but I've had at least 4 or 5 other acquaintances since, and quite a few former students since, take that act. And all I can say is life is full of climbing hills, and it's full of plateaus that you reach, and you start to get settled. You feel like you're not growing and you're not changing, so therefore you start to feel depressed, like what's wrong with me? But as time goes on, I was told this when I was a younger man, as time goes on, things do get better. My 30s were a real challenge for me. Just becoming a new teacher and having a huge financial investment in my house and in my family, it was tough. But my 40s have been wonderful, and things continue to get better. Starting a new job has made me very, very anxious. And all I can say is as time goes by, things will get better and they will stay the same. Very often in our life, we think things are getting worse, but they're really not. They're not getting worse. They're just staying status quo. And when that happens, people often feel like, what's wrong with me? There's nothing wrong with you. Lots of people feel this way. And if I could just tell you one other thing, from all the kids that I talk to at the middle school level, whoever suffered with depression and anxiety, I can tell that it's a very, very common occurrence. And you're not alone. So if you're feeling sad, reach out to somebody who cares. Talk to them. Start to read Jon Kabat-Zinn. Do yourself a favor and look up his name on YouTube today and start to practice mindful meditation. It will start to clear your head. It'll let you get control of your thoughts. It'll slow your heart rate down. And if you take anything from what I've said today, try to experience life through focus on being present And life will start to make better sense when you start to live every day for the day and not for what's coming tomorrow or the next day. I hope this helps. I just want you to know that you're not alone. You don't have to struggle through this by yourself. It's a sickness, it's an illness, and it's a medical condition. So if you're really feeling sad, talk to somebody. Make them aware that you're feeling sad, and hopefully they have some advice to make you feel happier. Okay? So you have a good day, and anytime you need any help, reach out. Thanks.